Davis. Today I'd like to teach you a little bit about how to properly walk in a hallway, commonly found here at Prairie Heights High School in Brushy Prairie, Indiana. In this video, we will go over the 5 main points of walking in the hallway safety / getting started, rules of the hall, stairs, lockers, and hallway interactions. By the end of this video, you will have all the tools you need to properly and safely utilize the hallways. The hallways are a very dangerous place, and we recommend that you take all necessary precautions to stay safe. You can start by utilizing some general safety equipment. This includes a neon vest so you can be clearly seen by laptop cards, and a standardized bicycle helmet to avoid concussions upon tripping up the stairs. We also recommend the use of closed-toed shoes to reduce the pain of a freshman boy messing around with his friends stepping on your toes. Once you have securely fastened all of the equipment on, you're ready to merge into your lane. If your lockers happen to be on the right side of the hallway, depending on the direction of travel, merging will be simple. Just wait for a small gap and slide on in. However, if your lane is on the opposite side of the hall, you do not have the right of way. I repeat, you do not have the right of way. When merging across the hall, the proper way is to wait for a large enough gap coming from both sides to make an appropriate merge into your desired lane. Once you have achieved a successful lane merge, you will need to maintain a reasonable speed. It is recommended that you at least keep a speed of about 2 SPS, or steps per second. Speeds slower than this are typically found amongst people in the ACZ, or the annoying couple zone. This is when a couple feels it's necessary to take their time getting to class, while taking up the entire side of the hall. It's best to get ahead of these couples before they merge into your lane. Turning corners is a very dangerous part of hallway travel, unless it is done properly. There is a common misunderstanding that the rules of lanes don't apply to turning corners. However, this is not at all true. When making a left turn, it is mandatory that you turn wide, not sharp. Turning sharp on a left turn heightens the risk of a head-on collision, knocking noses and crushing dreams. However, when turning right, sharp turns are mandatory. We recommend that you hug that wall harder than you hug your mother. Now, it should be noted that there is one aspect of hallway walking that has no way to be overcome by any amount of training: clustering. Clustering is when large groups of people gather up on one side of the hall, commonly found surrounding the alpha cluster's locker. The only advice I have for clusters is to not be a part of one. Which brings me to my next point: conversations. It is expected for a couple lads to be having a nice chat while strolling down the hall. However, it is polite to keep your conversation volume to a minimum. I speak on behalf of all teachers when I say that they really don't want to know what you did this weekend. Believe me. Here at Prairie Heights, the stairways are a very necessary part to anyone who has a class or a locker in the upper sector of the school. Unless you are one of those lucky enough to have caught yourself in a temporary leg injury and are given the blessing of an elevator key. Walking up and down the stairs can be very dangerous. Much like the hallway, it is proper to stay on the right side of the staircase. Failing to do so can lead to collisions and angered walkers. This also goes hand in hand with stopping on the stairs, which should also be avoided. This is rude and should not happen unless, of course, you accidentally trip up the steps, dropping your books everywhere, which is often painful and embarrassing. We also suggest the use of knee pads whenever you know you're going to be using the stairways. And finally, regarding the eastern staircase, there is a singular step discolored red. This is known as the red step, and it is advised that any walkers avoid all contact with this step no matter what circumstance. Legend has it that the red step was built atop an ancient Indian burial ground, and stepping on it will curse you and your family for years to come. So, it's just best to step over it. One of the hallway's main purposes, aside from transportation, is to provide places for students to put their things when not in use, such as book bags and other books for different classes. Lockers are essentially the pit stop of your road trip, meant for come-and-go use. Occasionally, you will come across a friend of your locker neighbor loitering in front of your locker. This can be fixed by simply muttering a gentle, "Excuse me," or "Move," if you're familiar enough with the person. However, there might come a time where a couple of lovebirds are getting familiar with each other on top of your locker. This might take a little more convincing to get them away, but can be achieved. To avoid making anyone face this awkward challenge, it is polite of a couple to utilize the designated couple zones located here, here, and here. These should be the only places where some light hugging and possibly a gentle peck on the cheek should ever occur. The amount of PDA allotted is typically dependent on the supervising teacher. However, please keep it to a minimum for the sake of everyone. Throughout the day, you will pass by a large amount of people. Most will smile and nod as a friendly gesture or to say hello. However, some have the intent of making you late to class by stopping you and telling you their life story. It's best to avoid these people no matter what. A couple of the greatest tips are the shoe tie method. When you see that dreadful person approaching, take a knee and act like you're tying your shoe. You could also use the drop books method, or simply avert your eyes to the floor. This will make you appear like you are in the mood to talk to someone. The only problem with not looking is your invulnerability to shoulder checking. Shoulder checking is a very rude occurrence when an arrogant underclassman is walking in the center of the hallway and feels it is not their responsibility to step out of the way, causing them to ram their shoulder into your arm. There isn't much you can do to prevent this, so if it does happen to you, just be sure that you slightly move your arm in a fluid backwards motion to embrace and lighten the blow of their shoulder. So there you have it. All the tips, tricks, rules, and regulations you need to stay safe and function out in the busy hallways. For the safety of yourself and the people around you, we hope that you use these techniques in your everyday life here at school. So go on out, have fun, stay safe, and get walking. Thank you.